So today we're going to talk about goal setting. And sorry, you're going to see me looking up and down. I have a bunch of papers. I'm used to doing this in person, number one. And number two, I'm used to talking to soldiers. So therefore, it's a whole different environment. So I'm going to be as professional as I can. I'm going to try to keep it as clean as I can. And bear with me as I look up and down because I'm trying to relate this information from military to civilian. Because in all reality, everything we do in the military, it relates to the civilian side. You just have to figure out how to connect the dots. So everything we do, whether it be the hardworking skills, the discipline, things like that, the motivation, you can bring it to the civilian side. You just have to adjust how you operate. I can't walk into techno solutions and make Michelle do push-ups. This is the civilian world. It doesn't work like that. However, you can use that discipline to make sure you're a better worker.
Thank God.
So we have 7 steps in our goal setting process in the military. And just recently, I was honored to be selected to go to a school up at Fort McCoy in Wisconsin. It's between Toma and Sparta, Wisconsin, which is out in the middle of nowhere, and there's nothing to do. So I'm glad I came home. But for 14 days straight, we learned everything resiliency. So at the end of the 14 days, I was able to get through the course, pass my test, the whole 9 yards, and I was certified as a master resilience trainer. So it's kind of a big thing in the military. Every unit is supposed to have one. We're here to help you get through challenges of life, adversity, goal setting, things. We're here to figure out what's going on, how to break it down, how to prioritize and execute. You're going to hear me say that a bunch, and overcome those obstacles. So one of those subjects within this course is goal setting. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And like I said, there's 7 steps. And I have a practical exercise, and I'm going to send it to Michelle, and she's actually going to post it on the Facebook page. And you can actually access this, print it off, and you can establish your own goal. So there are 7 steps. You can write it all out, and you can establish your own goal. And I hope you all do, and we can accomplish this. What we're looking for is long-term goals. So step number 1 is going to be define a goal. We need a long-term goal with a suspense date so we can hold ourselves accountable. So I'm going to use an example for myself. There's something in Gatlinburg, Tennessee called the Mountain Man Memorial March. This is a ruck march to honor one of our fallen that served in the United States Tennessee Army National Guard that was killed overseas in Afghanistan in 2004 or 5, I believe. Every single year they've done a memorial ruck for him, and it's just a great fundraiser to get everybody together. So there's a bunch of civilians and military personnel that get together. You can either run a half marathon, run a full marathon, or ruck. And whenever I say ruck, it is actually becoming a popular thing in the fitness world now, but it originated from the military. You put a bunch of weight in a backpack, put it on your back, and go for a walk. Gatlinburg, Tennessee is obviously in the Smoky Mountains. So we're required to put 55 pounds on our back and go walk 26.2 miles through the mountains of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So my goal is to prep for the 2021 Mountain Man Memorial March. A year away, it's April 2021. Reason being, this year was canceled, unfortunately. I've done it once, and I had a great time, so I'm looking forward to going back and doing it. So my goal is going to be setting myself up a year out for the 2021 Mountain Man Memorial March. So we're going to define our goal. Step number 1, define our goal. Have your suspense date. April 2021 is what I'm going to have. And know what you need to do to make that happen. So this can be personal or career. Obviously, we've got a lot of business owners in this chat. So if it's you want to raise your company to a certain amount of personnel, a certain profit margin, whatever it might be, you can set that, is make it a long-term goal so you can stick to it and set yourself a nice suspense date that's reachable. So step number 1, define a goal. Step number 2, know where you are right now. The key word here is energize. Let me take a step back. Keyword to step number 1, if you're taking notes, is end state. So you're going to define a goal with an end state. Step number 2, know where you are right now. And the keyword here is energize. So know where you are. You must be honest with yourself. You must be humble. Here's the deal. We're in quarantine. I'm not working out like I should be to get ready for this ruck march. I need to be honest with myself, understand where I'm at and where I need to be. Don't tell yourself you're a rock star if you're not a rock star yet. That's fine. We have got to be honest in order to achieve what we want to achieve. A key word that I use whenever I'm trying to figure out where I'm at is detach. And there's a guy that I follow on social media that I recommend you all to check out. His name is Jocko Willink. He is an ex-Navy SEAL and author of many books and just an awesome person. He's got a podcast as well called the Jocko Podcast. And he talks all things leadership. This is his go-to. And a lot of his messages are about detaching yourself from the situation. So as you're sitting here looking at your goal and you need to figure out where you are right now and where you need to be, I want you to detach yourself from the situation, take a step back, look at it as a whole, and figure out where you need to be. With anything business related, if you're talking to an employee as a boss, if you're talking to your boss as an employee, if things aren't where they need to be, if you have to have that tough conversation, always remember, detach yourself from that conversation. Think about the other person before you attack it. So that's a huge word. You're probably going to hear me say it quite a bit, but detach, detach, detach. So that's step number 2. Know where you are right now. You're going to write that down. The first 4 steps, 1 through 4 is our planning phase. So this is all just looking at our practical exercise, getting out that piece of paper and planning for this goal. 1 through 4, 5 through 7, we're going to execute, we're going to make it happen. But right now we're just planning for that goal. Step number 3, decide what you need to develop. Keyword here is priorities. Another Jocko saying is prioritize and execute. This has been common across the military since the military was founded. Prioritize and execute. If you have a busy day, you get into the office and you have a busy day, what are you going to do? You mentally prioritize and execute without even realizing it. Some of you make lists. Some of you mentally tell yourself, I'm going to do A, B, C, D, and then if I get time, the rest, whatever it might be. So you're going to decide what you need to develop. Prioritize and execute that list of what you need to hit that end state. So in step number 3, for example, what I need to develop for this Mountain Maid Memorial March, I make 3 topics: nutrition, a fitness plan, and time management. Because whether we like it or not, rucking takes forever. And like I said, I'm a married man and I've got 2 kids, and finding time, especially in today's crazy society, is very difficult. Even though we're stuck at home, it's difficult for sure. So rucking is walking. It takes time. 26 miles. It takes multiple hours. So this training plan is going to involve a lot of time management. So in step number 3, my main topics, like I said, nutrition, fitness plan, and time management. So decide what you need to develop, prioritize, and execute. Step number 4, make a plan for steady improvement. And to go back to it, like I said, if we were in person, you'd have this practical exercise in front of you. Michelle said she's going to record this. So after I send this practical exercise out, if you print it off, put it in front of you, and then listen to this, this is going to make a lot more sense because you're going to be able to fill the gaps as I go along. So step number 4, make a plan for steady improvement. This is what we call our SMART steps. Our keyword is SMART steps. SMART defined is specific, realistic, and time-bound. One more time: specific, measurable, action-focused, realistic, and time-bound. What you're going to do is you're going to make 2 statements. You're going to make an action statement, and you're going to make a power statement. An action statement is what you need to do to start off to execute this goal. The power statement is going to provide you the confidence to make that action statement happen. Motivation, if you will. We all know what motivation is, and we all know it doesn't last forever. You can hit the gym, put your favorite song on, and you're all amped up to work out. But at some point, that motivation level is going to die down. This is where discipline comes into play. I love motivation. I think it's a great thing. But for a long-term goal, motivation is not going to be there every single day to help you along. It's discipline that's going to make you wake up at 4:30 to get that workout in. It's the discipline that's going to make you stay until 8 o'clock at night at your business to get that to-do list done. So always remember, motivation is great, but discipline is what you need for the long haul. How do you get discipline? The number 1 question every time I talk to all of my soldiers: how do we find that internal discipline? You have to find your why. And what do I mean by find your why? What makes you tick every single day? For example, my wife and kids, that's my why. That's why I get up and go to work every single day. But more realistic to the actual goal I'm looking at here is the flag on my shoulder. So the Mountain Maid Memorial March is remembering one of our fallen from Afghanistan, from Tennessee. So my why every single morning at 4:30 when I'm getting up, going out and rucking when I don't want to, because my bed is nice and cozy, is finding my why. And I know my why with this soldier that was killed. So discipline is huge. Always, always remember, motivation is temporary and it's great. Don't get me wrong. I'll throw music in my ears as well to get going on that run. But discipline is going to help you push past that long term to get up every single day, because motivation will not be with you when you're laying in bed at 4:30 in the morning, nice and cozy. I can promise you that. So find your discipline. So your action statement, what you need to start out. For example, mine was, I will do 30 minutes. I actually had 3. I will do 30 minutes of stretching every single day. I will cover 50 miles per week of exercise, whether that be running and or rucking. And I will weight train 3 times a week. So I have 3 action statements. Every time you produce an action statement in step 4, you're going to follow it up with a power statement. My 3 power statements. I'm going to stretch to prevent injury. 1 step in front of the other. This is a big common thing that you hear in the military when you're rucking. Put 1 step in front of the other and keep moving. It's huge. So that's my power statement to give me the confidence to make it happen. And lastly, with weight training 3 times per week, my power statement was heavy weights. Pick it up and put it down. It's that easy. We all know how to do deadlifts, and that's what we do to get stronger. So pick it up and put it down. That's the confidence I need to make this happen. So that is steps 1 through 4. We are now done with the planning, and it's time to put this in action. So we're at step number 5, which is pursue regular action. Our keyword here is when. You have to continue to pursue regular action. This is where you're going to put your action statements and your power statements to the test. Because like I said, there's going to be days where you wake up and you don't want to do what you need to do to accomplish this goal. Referring back to me, yesterday was Monday. Guess what? I was supposed to get up at 4:30 and go for a run. Guess who didn't get up and go for a run? This guy. It happens. You're going to have those days. But the question is, how are you going to bounce back from that? It's having that discipline. So with step number 5, we're going to win. We're going to continue to keep ourselves accountable. So an action statement that I used in step number 5 is I will find a mobility routine to follow. It's that easy. I don't want to think. Whenever I'm stretching every morning before my run and the sun hasn't come up yet, I don't have time to think. I want it to be there for me. So I printed off a routine that I follow every single morning. And my power statement to follow that up is obviously stretch to prevent injury. I can't get hurt while I train for this. Another one is I will focus on the fitness plan to ensure I maintain my weekly tasks. So again, I'm not a guy that likes to walk into the gym and think of a workout right then and there. I like to have that on paper before I make it happen. So steps 1 through 4, when you're preparing for this goal, you have everything ready to go. So whenever you're making it happen and you're in that action phase, you've got it right there. You just need to read and respond. It is that easy. So that's step number 5. Step number 6, commit yourself completely. Maintain motivation. There's that word again, motivation. A lot of people don't like that word. MRT, we use it a lot. I bounce back motivation with discipline, discipline, discipline. I cannot say that enough. Jocko, the man I was talking about, he's got a saying that's discipline equals freedom. Like I said, he's an author. He actually wrote a book called Extreme Ownership. And it's how he related his leadership tactics in the Navy SEALs to the business world. And he actually runs a company called Echelon Front. And he does business leadership consulting with a bunch of civilian companies from his military experience. So I challenge you all to go to Amazon, Extreme Ownership, check it out. If you want to reach out to me, I've got like 5 copies at my house. Let me know. I'll drop a copy off. You can read it. That book changed my life. Hands down, it turned me into the leader I am today. But he talks about discipline equals freedom and owning everything in your life. You wake up Tuesday morning and your goal is to be at work by 8 a.m. But your kid is sick. What's going to happen? Well, obviously, if your child is sick, you've got to deal with it. But you need to own that fact. You need to understand that you can still make things happen. If you need to stay at home, prioritize and execute, take care of your child, obviously. Now get to work. You wake up at 06 one morning. Your alarm doesn't go off. You're late. You're supposed to wake up at 04:30. Own the fact that you screwed up. If you can start owning the fact that you make mistakes, you're going to be able to better yourself moving forward is the easiest way to say it. So Extreme Ownership, that book, hands down, changed my life. I recommend it to every single person. It can do anything in your life. It relates to all walks of life, whether you be in sales and business and management and leadership, you name it, because we all have to be leaders. At some point in our life, we have to be leaders. I don't care if it's my 2-year-old daughter taking my dog outside. She has to lead him to get out the door. So leadership is a huge thing. So that is step number 6, maintaining that motivation, discipline, discipline, discipline. And the last step, step number 7, continually to monitor your progress. IPR is what we call this. This is your keyword here, IPR. Stands for in-process review. You need to continue to check up on yourself. Give yourself a grade, whether it be once a day, whether it be once a week, once a month, depending on how long your goal is, you need to have that IPR. What I have set for myself is once a month, the first Monday of every single month, I am going to reevaluate how my training went and how I can up it up to get ready for the next event. So if you want to do it daily, if you want to do it weekly, whatever, if your goal is to maintain a diet, whatever it might be, set that IPR to continue to evaluate yourself. And guess what? You're gonna fall off. Yesterday morning, Monday morning, I was supposed to get up. I didn't get up. However, this morning, I made it happen. So evaluate yourself, always bounce back, because we are all going to fail at some point, but keep yourself accountable. Find someone, whether it be an office partner, a family member, a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, you name it, find someone to keep you accountable for your actions. It's always great sharing your stories. If you're out there doing great things and you can accomplish all these tasks throughout the day, let somebody else know about it, because they're going to cheer you on and that's going to make you feel good. Don't keep it inside. Go share it with the world. If your thing is to post it on social media, make it happen. That's awesome. You're out there doing great things and other people appreciate that and are proud of you. So make sure you hold yourself accountable. And let me take a step back. Make sure you hold yourself accountable, because if you don't get it done that day, then people are going to start asking, hey, I didn't see that Facebook post this morning with you out on a run. What's going on? Well, guess what? You fell off the train. It's time to get back on. It is that easy. Call me, send me a text, shoot me an email. I would love to see your goal and how we can make it happen. So in review, these 7 steps we have got real quick. We're going to go through them. Number 1 is define a goal. Number 2, know where you are right now. Number 3, decide what you need to develop. Number 4, make a plan for steady improvement. Number 5, pursue regular action. Number 6, commit yourself completely. Number 7, continually to monitor yourself, that IPR, in-process review. So now that we've got these 7 steps down, you're going to have this practical exercise in front of you. I challenge you all to pick a long-term goal, fill this out, and in this practical exercise that I send, there's going to be an example that the book gave us whenever I went through this training. So you're going to be able to see their example and you can kind of relate. And it gets a little more in depth, some things I didn't cover, about finding your own internal values, what's important to you to help motivate you as you go through. You're not going to see some words I use like detach and discipline throughout this. They use just motivation, but I like to throw my own touch on it because I think discipline is just hands down the most important character trait that you can have. So those are the 7 steps. We talked about motivation first discipline. We talked about detaching yourself from the situation as a whole, figuring out how you can best accomplish it. And we talked about knowing your why. That is huge. Know your why. Why are you doing what you are doing? Whether it be running a successful business, whether it be planning a fitness goal like I have, know your why. That's the reason you get up every single morning and you continue to kick butt. That's what I have for goal setting. I can continue to talk for hours, but I wanted to keep it short and sweet. So Michelle, thank you very much for letting me come on here. Hopefully in the near future, we can get together again at Turf Bar and we can go much more in depth about this, but I look forward to hearing back from you. So my challenge is number 1, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willing. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. Reach out to me. I will personally hand deliver you a copy of it. And number 2, print off this practical exercise, create a goal, make it happen. If you need me to hold you accountable, reach out to me via social media, text message, email, whatever it might be, or call me at the end and say, hey, I made it happen, and it was awesome. So Michelle, thank you very much.
Awesome. That was good. I jotted notes, and I'm looking forward to that sheet. I do a lot of SMART goal stuff, so I like that, but I've been a little lax because goals aren't working really good right now because everything keeps pivoting and changing. So